Hello everybody and welcome to the second week of our virtual pub quiz. For those of you that haven't joined us before, my name's Tony and I'm the Enfield Live at Home Scheme Manager. So big welcome to everyone, and those of you that have joined us before, welcome back. I'm here in my empty pub again. It's very weird. It's probably the first time in 16 years that I've had a good night's sleep though, so not all bad. But yeah, so same as last week, 30 questions again. And then what I'll do is you can pause me at any time, and then you can go back between questions, and then I'll give you the answers at the end. So remember, no cheating. So get your pen and paper ready and we will begin. So question 1. How many members were in the Monty Python team? So how many members were in the Monty Python team? I've never actually watched Monty Python. Probably lots of you are going to turn off now because I haven't watched Monty Python. But Question 2. According to the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland, what kind of food is eaten tomorrow, yesterday, but never today? So, according to the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland, what kind of food is eaten tomorrow, yesterday, but never today? And I have seen Alice in Wonderland. So what kind of food is eaten tomorrow, yesterday, but never today? Question 3. Which British monarch was known as Bloody Mary? So which monarch was known as Bloody Mary? Question 4. Sisters Anne, Charlotte and Emily were members of which 19th century literary family? So sisters Anne, Charlotte and Emily were members of which 19th century literary family? So we're looking for their surname. Question 5. In Italian cooking, which tea is a ribbon-shaped pasta? So which tea is a ribbon-shaped pasta? Question 6. A Tale of Two Cities is a book written by which author? So we're looking for the author of A Tale of Two Cities. They also wrote quite a famous Christmas book. Question 7. Cyprus is an island in which sea? So Cyprus is an island in which sea? My geography's not too good, so I wouldn't know this one. The good thing about these quizzes is you learn quite a bit as you're making them. I don't know if anyone else is learning quite a bit as they're doing them, but I've definitely learnt some things today as I was writing this. So question 8. In which year did the Titanic sink during its maiden voyage? Was it A, 1892, B, 1902, or C, 1912? So we're looking for the year that the Titanic sunk. So is it A, 1892, B, 1902, or C, 1912? Question 9. Which Roald Dahl book begins, "These two very old people are the father and mother of Mr. Bucket"? So we're looking for the Roald Dahl book that begins with the quote, "These two very old people are the father and mother of Mr. Bucket." Very famous book as well. Question 10. Which M is Britain's leading hospital specialising in eye injuries? So which M is Britain's leading hospital specialising in eye injuries? Question 11. So this is a true or false. Before becoming an actor, Michael Caine was a fish porter at Billingsgate Market. So the famous actor Michael Caine, we want to know if it's true or false that before he became an actor, he was a fish porter at Billingsgate Market. It's interesting hearing about different jobs people had before they become famous. So true or false, Michael Caine, before he was an actor, was a fish porter at Billingsgate Market. Question 12. Here's Looking at You, Kid is a line used 4 times in which film starring Humphrey Bogart? So Humphrey Bogart uses the quote, "Here's looking at you, kid," in which film? Question 13. Now this is something I've learnt today. So we know him as Boris Johnson, but what's his real first name? A hint is it's not Boris. So we know him as Boris Johnson, but what's his real first name? Question 14. Now I'm glad that these two aren't around nowadays to come in this pub, but what were the first names of the Kray twins? I think we definitely have a few optics and glasses smashed. So what were the first names of the Kray twins? 15. Another true or false. Shredded wheat was the UK's first ready-to-eat breakfast cereal. So is it true or false that shredded wheat was the UK's first ready-to-eat breakfast cereal? We had a great talk back in the summer of last year from Colin about the shredded wheat factory in Welling. It was really interesting. The building's still sort of there, but a lot of it's been demolished now. But true or false, shredded wheat was the UK's first ready-to-eat breakfast cereal. 16. Gin is a distilled grain flavoured with which type of berry? So gin is a distilled grain flavoured with which type of berry? "17. Which member of the British royal family was born at Buckingham Palace on the 14th of November 1948? So we're looking for which member of the royal family who was born at Buckingham Palace on the 14th of November 1948. It beats being born at Chase Farm, doesn't it? Not quite the same. So 18. Johannesburg is the largest city in which country? So Johannesburg is the largest city in which country? "19. In the USA, the Founding Fathers jointly signed which document? So the Founding Fathers of the USA jointly signed which document? Question 20. Which British actor has starred as Sherlock Holmes in Sherlock since 2010? So we're looking for the British actor who starred as Sherlock Holmes in Sherlock since 2010. 21. Which English football club are known as the Canaries? So which English football club are known as the Canaries? 22. In which country did the sport of badminton originate? So in which country did the sport of badminton originate? "23. Prue Leith and Paul Hollywood serve as judges on which TV show? So we're looking for the famous TV show where Prue Leith and Paul Hollywood are the judges. 24. There's no place like home is a famous movie quote from which film? So there's no place like home is a famous movie quote from which film? (25) Arthur's Seat is in which city? So Arthur's Seat is in which city? 26. Between which two cities does the West Coast Main Line run? So we're looking for the two cities in which the West Coast Main Line runs. 27. This is another thing I've learnt today. The tea bag was introduced by which company in 1953? So the tea bag was introduced by which company in 1953? (28) Which board game was originally called Criss Crosswords? It's not as catchy as its real name now. So which board game was originally called Criss Crosswords? It's a game we like to play at our board game afternoons. 29. Florence Nightingale featured on which British banknotes? So Florence Nightingale featured on which British banknote? And lastly, number 30, on an email, what does CC stand for? So on an email, what does CC stand for? And that's everything. So if you want to give us a pause, and you can go back between the video and go over any questions you need. But yeah, basically join me again in a few seconds and we'll go through the answers. So welcome back. It's time to go through the answers. I hope you enjoyed doing the quiz and let's see how you got on. So, number 1, how many members were in the Monty Python team? The answer is 6. 2, according to the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland, what kind of food is eaten tomorrow, yesterday but never today? Jam. 3, which British monarch was known as Bloody Mary, and that's Mary the First? 4, sisters Anne, Charlotte and Emily were members of which 19th century literary family? And that's the Bronte family. 5, in Italian cooking, which tea is a ribbon-shaped pasta? Tagliatelle. 6, A Tale of Two Cities is a book written by which author? And that's Charles Dickens. 7, Cyprus is an island in which sea? It's the Mediterranean. 8, in which year did the Titanic sink during its maiden voyage? And the answer was C, 1912. 9, which Roald Dahl book begins two very old people are the father and mother of Mr. Bucket, and it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? 10, which M is Britain's leading hospital specialising in eye injuries? It's Moorfields. 11, we was looking for true or false that before becoming an actor, Michael Caine was a fish porter at Billingsgate Market, and it's true. It's always interesting knowing what people did before they become famous. 12, here's looking at you, kid, is a line in which film starring Humphrey Bogart? It's Casablanca. 13, we know him as Boris Johnson, but what's his real first name? And it's Alexander. 14, what were the first names of the Kray twins? It was Ronnie and Reggie. 15, true or false? Shredded wheat was the UK's first ready-to-eat breakfast cereal, and it's true. 16, gin is a distilled grain flavoured with which type of berry? It's juniper. 17, we were looking for the member of the British royal family who was born at Buckingham Palace on the 14th of November 1948, and that was Prince Charles. 18. Johannesburg is the largest city in which country? And that's South Africa. 19. In the USA, the Founding Fathers jointly signed which document? And that was the Declaration of Independence. 20. Which British actor has starred as Sherlock Holmes in Sherlock since 2010? And that's Benedict Cumberbatch. 21. Which English football club are known as the Canaries? And that's Norwich City. 22. In which country did the sport of badminton originate? And it was here in England. 23. Prue Leith and Paul Hollywood are judges on which TV show? And it's the Great British Bake Off. 24. There's no place like home is a famous movie quote from which film? And it's The Wizard of Oz. 25. Arthur's Seat is in which city? Edinburgh. 26. Between which two cities does the West Coast Main Line run? And it's London and Glasgow. 27. The tea bag was introduced by which company in 1953? And it was Tetley. 28. Which board game was originally called Criss Crosswords? And it was Scrabble. 29. Florence Nightingale featured on which British banknote? And it was the £10 note. And lastly, number 30, on an email, what does CC stand for? It stands for carbon copy. So that's all of them. Total up your scores and let us know how you got on. If anyone got 30 out of 30, I'd be really impressed. And I hope that you've all learnt something, if anything. I've definitely learnt that Boris Johnson's real name isn't Boris. And I hope that you'll join us again next week. So until then, stay safe and keep in touch. Bye for now.